Hello there. I'm going to discuss a little bit about Saturn in Libra, except for a short foray between the middle of April till the middle of July, where it goes back into Virgo. After that, it's going to be in Libra until October the 5th, 2012. And it's going to affect us all in different ways. But what you can be sure about is that Saturn in Libra is going to affect our relationships. Saturn rules structure, rules having goals, rules limitation, rules commitment, rules integrity. Libra rules your relationships, your business, and your intimate relationships, and any kind of relationships you can think of. And it's exalted in Libra because Saturn, when it's balanced and there's fairness and there's justice in the system, is happy when integrity is there. What we are going to see over the coming years on a global scale with Saturn in Libra is we're going to see big changes in the law. Libra would rule the legal system, and we will see some huge changes in partnership law, in laws affecting gays and lesbians, in laws affecting whether people can be married off against their will. We're going to see changes in the way that we have partnerships. I see so many clients who are either feeling as though the biological clock is running out, or they've got a lot of peer pressure and family pressure to have to get married or to have to make a commitment. Well, you know what? We're living a whole lot longer, and women now are able to freeze their eggs. They've got a lot more option now. It's not the same kind of urgency as it used to be, and I think there's going to be a catching up with that mentality during this period of Saturn's ingress into Libra. On a personal level, wherever Saturn is transiting in your chart, that's where you're going to experience, in that life area, you're going to experience the changes and the structure that you need to put into place, and maybe some things that actually need to go in your life that no longer serve you also have to go during this process. For those of you born between about 1982 and 1984, you are about to experience your first Saturn return. And very often during your first Saturn return, there's a couple of very significant events happen in your life. Could be getting married, could be a new job, could be a new career, could be an ending, could be a beginning. It's usually something that has a big impact on you. For those of you that were born in around 1952 to 54, you're going to be experiencing your second Saturn return. And for those of you that can think back to what happened during your first Saturn return, how you handled it, will give you a lot of indication as to how you're going to be handling this second Saturn return. So I'm going to go through the houses at lightning speed because there's not very much time on a YouTube video, but at least this is going to give you some idea. Saturn coming in, transiting this first house. Sometimes there's a feeling as though I'm starting again. I'm starting from the beginning. I'm feeling a little bit lost. I see a lot of clients who've got this at the moment and they're feeling lost, directionless, and as though things aren't really moving very much for them. The idea here is that you set yourself some new goals. You're moving into a new area, a new period of your life, a new 14-year cycle. And so allow these goals to come slowly, and you may need to get rid of things in your life in order to be a little more focused so that you can start off building new foundations. That's very much what it means, Saturn in the first. Saturn through the second, you're going to have to be frugal with your finances. You're going to have to watch those finances. You're going to have to be careful with them. You might feel like you're just getting by, but as long as you're careful, you will be all right. It's not a time to go into big debt. Saturn through the third, many of you will want to take on a serious course of study. A serious course of study that could last a few years, whereby you gain some qualification towards furthering your career. Some of you might feel a bit restricted, as though you can't move around as freely as you'd like to, but this is because it's wanting you to focus your mind. Saturn through your fourth, you might feel as though you're being uprooted, or as though you've got lots of renovations to do on your home, upgrades, things to make it warmer in the winter or cooler in the summer, whatever it is, but upgrades and things to do to your living situation. Saturn through the fifth is a time for those of you that are entrepreneurial. It's time to put bones on a business idea. It's time to put a structure into it and to bring it into reality. Then we've got Saturn through the 6th. This is a time to look at your routines, to look at what it is that you've got in place in your life. How is your diet? How is your exercise? Are you eating loads of junk food? It's time to put in new routines, because as Saturn transits this house, you can have health issues, not necessarily, but you will if you don't put good new routines into practice. It can also be a time when the workplace cuts back. You may find yourself with less work and in fact more responsibilities. Saturn through the 7th can be a time when your relationships are really in focus. And for those of you that have got a solid relationship, it will be tested, but if you come through the other side through this transit, your relationship's stronger than ever. Those of you that don't have a strong relationship may find that it ends during this transit. Saturn through the 8th is a time to look at joint finances. You may feel as though you're restricted in your finances. There may be some things that need to be ended. You need to look at your relationships with your bankers and all your financiers in your life, people that are involved with your money. Saturn through your 9th is again connected with education, connected with spirituality, connected with ways in which you feel you might be able to help the world. It also could take you travelling for business, not for pleasure, but for business. Saturn through the 10th is a time of fruition, often a fruition of your career, where you are highly esteemed and respected for all the time and the energy that you've put in over the years. That's for those of you that have been working at a career. For those that you haven't been focused, then this is a great time to create new goals and start focusing on a new career. It's a time when many change jobs and change direction. Saturn through the 11th house is all about your friendships and your goals. You may find that certain friendships end during this period, or they become difficult and you have to work through some issues in order to get to the other side. It's also a time for putting some flesh on some goals and some dreams and visions that you've had floating around your head, and you put some flesh on them and make them very structured and concrete. Finally, Saturn through the 12th is very much about, it can be a feeling of isolation, because it's a time of going inside and looking at areas in your life where you've just got to let go. Things that are past their sell-by date and you really need to move on. So there you have it. That's my run through Saturn through the various houses. If you'd like to know about it in a little more detail, then you might like to have a reading of your own. For those of you that do, please take a look at my website or send me a message or an email and let me know what you're interested in. Thanks ever so much for listening. Take care. Bye for now.